Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video. I'm a 25-year-old male and I've always been very close to my family and have always tried to respect their ideals and viewpoints, even though they can be a bit conservative. Recently, I got engaged to my high school girlfriend, 24, and her opinions clash a lot with my family's, but she knows how to keep quiet and not cause an argument. For example, my family doesn't believe in women working after marriage. They believe that the duty of a woman is to have children and raise them after marriage. My fiance is very free minded and doesn't believe in all this. To be honest, neither do I. However, she hasn't ever openly disagreed with my family, preferring to take their opinions with a grain of salt and not hurt sentiments. I'm extremely grateful to her for being as understanding as this. It was my birthday last week and we had planned a small family dinner. My parents had come with my brother and his wife. The entire time, my mother kept comparing my sister in law to my wife, telling her that instead of ignoring her duties as a woman, she should learn to manage a household, cook, and look after a family like my sister in law did. My wife put up with their comments for a while because she wanted to avoid conflict, but it began to get on her nerves. When my sister in law offered to teach her the ways of the kitchen and how to be a proper woman, my wife lost it. She told my parents that she had put up with enough of them criticizing every move of hers and judging her on the basis of the fact that she was a working woman. She told them up front that she would never be the wife they were expecting her to be. She would never quit her job to focus on her family or become my stay at home maid, taking care of me at every step. I tried to stop the argument from escalating, but it was out of my hands now. My mother told my fiance that she had tried her hardest to be open minded, if only for the fact that she was someone I cared about. My mom had only tried to teach her to be a proper wife because she believed I deserved only the best, and teaching my fiance to be the perfect wife was the way to go. However, my wife didn't agree with this assessment of the situation and told my mom that she never believed in all of those conservative ideals and wanted to be her own woman first and my wife second. My mother was shocked because she had never had anyone speak to her that way before. She told my wife to watch her mouth and told me that she was not going to let this argument continue any further. She told me that my birthday was more important to her and she wanted to keep the celebration happy instead of bringing the mood down with an argument. My fiance only grew angrier at the implication that she was being unreasonable and ruining my birthday. She told my mother clearly that if she had to fight on every single one of my birthdays to stay free from my parents' patriarchal point of view, she would. At this point, I stepped in. I understood both of their points of view, but at the moment, I was honestly a little irritated at my fiance for starting an argument which she knew would lead to nowhere. However, she still decided to start an argument. I told them both to stop fighting, if only out of consideration for me. I told my fiance that my mother was someone who was much elder to her and should be respected as such. Starting an argument was going to get us nowhere and would only dampen the mood and ruin her reputation in front of my mom. My fiance lost it then and decided to storm out of the dinner. She left telling me to not stay up late as she might not return home to someone who was too weak to defend her. This rankled me a bit, I'll admit, but the pressing issue was that everyone was enraged at this point. The minute my fiance left the house, my mom told me that it was going to be a choice between them both. If I chose to marry my fiance, I was going to get cut off from the family. I calmed her down and promised her that my family would always come first to me. Everyone in my family came to the decision that breaking off the engagement was going to be best for everyone involved. I told everyone that I would keep their advice in mind and not make my fiancée a part of our family. This hurt me a bit because I am truly in love with her, but if it comes to a choice between her and my family, I will always choose them. Family has always been the most important to me. Now I need to break the news to her. I'm waiting for her to return. Once she does, I will break it off with her. It's going to be messy, but she was the one who provoked my family. Quietly putting up with them was not that hard, but she decided to speak up against them. If she can act so rashly, she should be able to take the consequences of her actions. I love her, but she really needs to tame herself before she gets into real trouble with that attitude of hers. I will tell her what my family told me and apologize to her, but I won't let our relationship continue. If it hampers my relationship with my family, I don't want it. I hope she realizes her mistake and apologizes to my parents after I tell her of my decision. When my fiancée returned home the next day, I told her about the conversation that had taken place and the decision I had taken in regards to our relationship. She looked gobsmacked for a second, then she asked me if I was joking. Once I confirmed that I was dead serious, she demanded the reason as to why I decided to break it off with her. I told her that she was hampering my relationship with my family and they had given me a choice to make, so I chose them. However, I did give her the idea that apologizing to them might be the first step towards making things better. My fiancée didn't appear to agree with me at all. She accused me of being weak and not defending her like a true partner would have. She told me that I was completely trapped under the clutches of my family, and they were manipulating me to be sympathetic to their conservative points of view, so much so that I didn't realize how much I was insulting my fiancé. Honestly, I felt she was overreacting and told her so. I told her that adjustments needed to be made in order for a relationship to thrive. If she wasn't flexible enough to adjust to my family, she simply wasn't the right fit for me. My fiancé looked almost disbelieving and told me that she regretted trusting me enough to love me at all. She realized now what a backwards mentality I had regarding women. I should never be allowed to get married because any wife I would have would be abused by my family while I sat and watched. I felt like that was crossing a line and told her to never insult my family ever again, which seemed to spark something in her. She simply agreed to break it off with me and stormed off. I came clean to my family about the entire thing and they agreed that I did my best, but not everything could be controlled by me. If my ex-fiancée wanted to behave like a child, she was welcome to walk out of my life. I was heartbroken because I had felt that she was different, that she cared enough about me to adjust her point of view. Clearly she doesn't, so I have to let her go. It's hard for me, but I will always put my family first in every circumstance. My ex-fiancé's parents called me up today. They tried to have a conversation with me regarding this, explaining to me that breaking off an engagement over an argument was not mature. I agreed, but told them that it was their daughter's decision. Had she apologized right away and tried to make amends for her behavior, we would have not come to this point. I had tried my best to understand her, give her space, and solve the disagreement between her and my family. But if she was unwilling to take any step, I couldn't keep fighting by myself. She was being selfish in this situation, and I told them so. They told me that they had expected a man as educated as me to be more understanding of the free-mindedness of their daughter. They knew that their daughter was not conservative, and her opinions clashed with my family's, but they had expected me to support her as her partner and stand up for her if my family disagreed with her at any point. They had expected me to act like the bridge between her and my family and explain to them that she was a bit different from the conservative girls they were used to, but she was right for me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told them clearly that they couldn't ever expect me to go against my family to defend anyone, not even her. My family is the most important thing to me, and they have always supported me and stood by me at every point. Them asking me to go against my family and defend my fiancé was unthinkable. I had always made it very clear that I was very close to my family and would never do anything to go against them, not even if it came to a point of breaking things up between us. I thought they had understood that I was never going to stop defending my family or fighting for their point of view. This appeared to come as a surprise to her parents. They told me they were disappointed in me as they had expected that they were going to give their daughter to a better man. They said they were glad they knew the truth of my character as it saved them a lot of heartache. I honestly told them to have a good day and cut it off. If someone doesn't understand the love I have for my family, they have no place with me. OP is honestly a headache to be with. I feel for the poor fiancé. I hope she finds someone better now. OP should have understood that his fiancé's and family's opinions would clash. It's best to not introduce two such clashing opinions like that. The fact that OP did means he accepted the fact that he would always be caught between them. He shouldn't be surprised it came to this. My mother had a gorgeous wedding dress that my sister and I both loved growing up. One day, while looking at old photo albums, my sister called dibs on the dress, sparking a huge argument because I didn't think it was fair, and this wasn't like the last slice of pizza you just snatch and say, first come, first serve. Even our mother agreed and said that we could either share the dress or each take parts of it. But my sister wouldn't listen and basically said the adult version of, you snooze, you lose. It all kind of got forgotten until recently. My mother passed and I wanted to wear her wedding dress so I could feel like she was part of the wedding. My sister immediately threw a fit and said that she already called dibs on it. We were looking at the dress together and she immediately went to try it on to show me how much better she'd look in it. Here's the thing though, she can't fit into it. And just to be clear, I never talk about her weight. And I didn't bring it up until she forced it up over her hips and the entire back seam along the zipper ripped. I literally screamed in horror. I feel like this is one of the last pieces of tradition I have with our mother, and my sister practically tore it in half to prove a point to me. At this point, I yelled at her, asking her what her plan was with the dress if she couldn't fit into it. Her response was that it was the principle of the matter, and if she couldn't wear it, then nobody could wear it. I told her she had no respect for our mother's things. At that point, I basically forced her to take the dress off, packed it up, and took it away from our dad's place to get it fixed. Since then, she's been blowing up on social media, twisting it to say that I fat shamed her. It was never about that, though. I had offered for us to split it up and even offered for her to get it altered to fit her after I wore it. She's not even engaged yet, so I feel like she's being wildly unfair and selfish. But her friends have been dragging me on the internet saying I'm heartless and stealing a special moment from my sister. We haven't talked since, and I've been feeling a little guilty since she's been refusing to go to any family gatherings if I'm there. She's planning on missing Father's Day and made sure to let everyone know it's because of me. I'm starting to feel like the AH because I can tell it's tearing up my dad. NTA, sounds like you're getting married soon and your sister isn't. Tell her if you snooze, you lose. She should have gotten engaged, married before you. She tried to put it on, ripped it open trying to do so, and said nobody will get it if she can't wear it. You did not call her fat or fat shame her, but you did take the dress after it became clear she'd rather destroy it if it didn't fit her. You are getting the dress repaired and have told her she will have access to it in future if she wants. You don't know why she's lying and creating drama, but you won't be engaging or rewarding it. Then ignore everyone. When my mom was young, her mom, my grandma, came up with this special birthday cake recipe they used to make together every year for both their birthdays. My grandma died when my mom was 16, and my mom treasured that recipe after she lost her. When she had my brother, 20, and me, 18 female, she carried on using it for us, and we'd all make it together 3 times a year. It was something she felt was a little tradition and mentioned maybe we could pass it on to our kids if, when we had them and wanted to do it. Mom died when I was 9 and my brother was 11. We started making it together for each of our birthdays every year. Dad remarried soon after Mom died. He has 3 children with our stepmother. Our stepmother is jealous of the cake tradition we had with our mom that she left to us and didn't share with our dad. She always tried to come up with a recipe of her own to share with her kids, but it never worked out. According to my dad, she always hoped we would offer to share the recipe with her and our half-siblings and that it could become a bigger family recipe. But we didn't. A year ago, my half-sister told me she wished she could be part of the tradition. I explained to her that it was something mine and brother's grandma started with our mom, that it was a special thing just for us. She understood. I encouraged her to work with her mom to figure something out. Apparently, they still haven't got something they like or have as much fun making as my brother and I have with the cake from our mom and grandma. My stepmother asked me for the recipe for the upcoming birthdays of my half-siblings. She said it's time that she be considered family enough, and them too, to get in on the cake recipe and the tradition, which should be for family regardless of how they're family, her words. I said no. I told her I would not share the recipe with her. My brother told her no as well. Though he was pretty blunt with her about it, I just explained it meant a lot to keep it for us and Mom and Grandma. She cussed me out on the phone and ended the call. I got a text after saying I was an a-hole for being exclusionary. Ever since she has been sending me texts about how shitty I am as a person. AITA? NTA, it's your family recipe to do with what you want. Her behavior does not reflect how family behaves to each other. If she asks again, respond with, why would you want a recipe from a shitty person? Really pushy, plus I'm pretty sure she will share the recipe with her siblings since they are family. Why not? OP, keep your recipe. They could make cake and have fun since they were kids without your special recipe. The internet and cookbooks are full of recipes. NTA. NTA, she is way too damn pushy and now attacks you for saying no? She's TA. It's a special tradition you've got with your grandmother and mother, 2 people that passed away. She's more than welcome to make her own damn recipe and traditions with her kids. To attack you for not wanting to add a random person into a special tradition makes her shitty. Don't share it with her, and if needed, block her number or put her on blast on social media with screenshots. She could have asked you to make the cake for her kids. She doesn't need the recipe either. Keep it under lock and key and tell your father to get his wife under control. I hate saying crap like that, but his wife is attacking his daughter unjustly, and he needs to put a stop to it, like yesterday.